Hello friends, welcome to my another video lecture on divide and conquer. In this particular lecture we will try to understand what is divide and conquer, and we will discuss about one of the divide and conquer algorithm, that is binary search. So first of all, let us try to understand what is divide and conquer, how does the concept of divide and conquer works, what is the algorithm design technique, and then we will move ahead. So in divide and conquer, the first thing is we want to divide the problem into smaller subproblems. What is this? What is, first of all, let us try to understand what is divide and conquer. So here, what is divide and conquer is divide and conquer. So this is one of the algorithm design technique. Algorithm design technique. There are many other algorithm design techniques. There is another method, design technique, that is called as greedy method. Then we have dynamic programming. Then we have brute force methods. So there are many. Out of that, we will try to know what is this divide and conquer. So whenever a problem is given to us, let us say the problem size is n. Let us say this is a problem P. Its size is n. Okay. So we want to solve this particular problem. Let us say we want to solve this particular problem, and in order to solve this problem, what we can do is we can apply either brute force method. For example, let us say sorting. In case of sorting, you can try out all the options, and finally you can check whether a of I is less than or equal to a of j for all values of I where I is less than j. For all values of I, if it is happening for all values of I and j where I is less than j and this is satisfied, in that case you can say that the given list is sorted. But now in this case, in brute force method, what do we do is we try to apply all the methods. So bubble sort is one of the method. Over here in the divide and conquer, what do we do is we try to divide the problem into smaller subproblems, and we try to solve these smaller subproblems. When these smaller subproblems are solved, if they can be directly solved, we will solve them. Otherwise, if we find that these smaller subproblems are again very much difficult to be solved, we divide them into smaller subproblems. So for example, these two subproblems, further we divide into smaller subproblems, into 4 subproblems, let us say. These are 1, 2, 3 and 4. We try to solve these problems. If you find that again this is not directly solvable, you can go and you can divide this problem into smaller subproblems. So it is not the case that you can divide it into 2 parts only, you can divide it into 4 parts each time. So 4 this, 4 this, then these 4, and then over here it will be 2. You can decide how many parts into how many parts I should divide the problem. And once you find that these problems can be, once you find that the problem is small, that is this problem can be directly solved, you solve it, you get the solution of this. Let us say this is the solution of 1, this is solution of 2, this is solution of 3, solution 4, and then we will combine these solutions. So the way in which we have divided the problem into subproblems, in the same way we will combine the problem solution of the subproblem. So 1 and 2 will be combined to get the solution of this part. Then 3 and 4 will be combined to get the solution of this part. So and then these two solutions will be merged together to get the solution of this particular part. Similarly over here, let us say this is S5, S6, S7 and S8, and these are the solution are combined to get the first half, solution of the first half over here, this subproblem. Okay, solution of the second subproblem is when these two solutions are combined. Okay, and when these two are combined, we get the solution of these as a whole. And finally, when these two solutions are combined together, we get the solution of this particular problem, the complete problem. Now combining the solution means, for example, let us say we want to find out the largest number. We want to find out the largest number. So what we can do is we can divide this problem into smaller subproblems, and we can find out the largest number in this area, and we can find out another largest number in this area. Again, if this is very much large, we can divide it into smaller parts. Let us say largest number in this part and in this part. So finally, we will get the largest number in this part, and then we will compare the largest number which we have received in this second part. So we will compare both of them. For example, larger one, if larger one is greater than larger 2, at the time we say that largest is equal to larger one. Otherwise larger 2. So this is how this divide and conquer technique works. So in brief, I would like to tell you that whenever a problem is given to us, we are free to divide it into any number of subproblems. You can divide it into 5 subproblems, let us say. Only the thing is that once you get the solution of these 5 subproblems, you have to combine them to get the combine, in the sense it can be in terms of combining all of them in a single instance, or otherwise if you are doing in this way, let us say you are dividing into 2 parts and then further you are dividing this one into 2 parts. So if you get these 2 solutions, these 2, when you combine them, you get the solution of this particular problem. Again, whatever the divisions you have made previously, all the combinations are to be merged together to get the solution of a problem as a whole. So the brief concept is like this. Brief concept is, whenever a big problem is given to us, we go on dividing the problem into smaller subproblems. We try to solve that smaller subproblems. If further smaller, whatever the subproblems are there, if they are again very much large to be solved, again we can go on dividing them into smaller subproblems. Once we find that a given subproblem is small to be solved, we get the solution of that. We get the solution of all the subproblems, and then we combine all these solutions together to get the solution of the given problem as a whole. So this is the concept of divide and conquer. So I hope you have understood this one. Moving ahead, we will try to understand what is binary search. Let us try to understand the binary search. What is the problem? First of all, let us try to know what is a problem statement. So over here we have given an array of size n. We have given an array of size n which is already sorted in the non-decreasing order. Now non-decreasing order means it is sorted in the increasing order. It is sorted in the increasing order. So consider a problem of determining whether a given element x is present in the list or not. Okay, x, or sometime the finding out k, we say that key we want to find out, or k we want to find out. So it can be anything. So we want to check whether in a given array, whether the given key x is present or not, or k is present or not. If x is present in the list, let us say the x is present at this particular position, and if this index is j, so we return the index j and we say that it is successful search. This is successful search. If x is not present in the list, then we return 0. We either return j to the caller, or we return 0 to the caller. So what is the problem? Problem P is n, a low to a high. So I is low and L is high, and x. So n is the number of elements in the array, I is the lower index, ai is the element at the lower index, L is the higher index, al is the element at the higher index, and x is the element to be searched. Let us say this denote a arbitrary instance of this search problem where n is the number of elements in the list, and ai to al is a list of elements, x is the element which is to be searched. So then first thing we have to identify, as I told you, that we have to go on dividing the problem into smaller p. If I found that this particular problem is small, at that time I can directly solve this one. So what is small p in this case is, if my array contains single element, let us say my array contains single element and that is 15, and if I am searching for 12, what I will do is I will directly compare this with the low, let us say low element ai, okay, low index element. If both of them are equal, then this is successful search, and return I, we will return I. Okay, if both of them are not equal, at that time it is unsuccessful search and we will return 0. So what is small p? Small p is if the array that you are considering is having only one element. Now what does it mean is, here for this array with single element, we have low is equal to 1, let us say low is equal to 1 and high is equal to 1. So that is what is happening here is, low is equal to high. If it happens that low is equal to high, at that time you can say that this is one thing. You can say that the array is very much small and it can be directly solved. So moving ahead, what is SP? What is the case over here? In this case, SP will take the value of I if x is equal to ai, as I have previously told. Otherwise, it will take the value of 0. And in this case, searching will take only one comparison. So that is time required to search an element in an array of size 1 is equal to 1. So now next thing is that this is if P contains only one element. If P has more than one element, then we have to divide the problem into subproblems. So if P has more than one element, then what we can do is we can divide the problem into new subproblems. Okay, so let us say this is an array with 5 elements, 1 2 3 4 5, and let us say these are the elements present here. As we have told that the array should be sorted, so in the increasing order or in the non-decreasing order, so we will consider this one. So now here let us say if I randomly choose a value q, index q, if I randomly choose an index q, now what I am going to do in this particular case is, if I randomly choose an index q where q is less than or equal to high, where q is less than equal to high and q is greater than or equal to low, q is anything between this one, low to high. So let us say if I choose q is equal to 3, if I choose q is equal to 3 and the key that I am searching for, and the key that I am searching for is 4. So this is x is equal to 4 and q is equal to 3. Q is the index, where I will directly go. So this is index number 1, this is index number 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are writing a C program, then these indices will start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I choose q is equal to 3, what I find is the value at third index is 7. Value at third index is 7 and 7 is greater than 4. 7 is greater than 4. So what is the probabilities? As I know that this particular list is already sorted, what is the possibility is, if at all this value is present in this array, at that time it will be present at the left hand side of this q index, So what I will do is, I will update high, I will bring my high here, I will bring, instead of keeping this much large problem, I will now reduce my problem from low to high minus 1, even it is not present. So my problem will remain with the 2 values only. So if at all I am searching for 7, at that time it is present over here and directly it is searched. At that time you will directly return q. If I am searching for 7, but I am searching for 4, I have to bring the high towards the left hand side. That is, I have to search in the left hand side subarray. So the same thing is I am trying to do. So let us randomly pick an index q. Let us randomly pick an index q in the range of low to high. I is low and L is high, and compare x with aq. Whatever the key that is we are searching for, compare it with a of q. A of q is value present at qth index. So there are 3 possibilities. One is x is equal to aq. Let us say if x is equal to aq, directly we have to return q. Okay, because the problem is solved. So in this case the problem P is immediately solved and the value is present at the index q. Second thing is that x is less than a of q. Whatever the element I am searching for is less than a of q. In our case 4 is less than a of q is 7. So in that case what we will do is we have to search in the first half. So in this case x has to be searched for only in the sublist a of low to a of q minus 1. This is a of low and this is a of low minus 1, q minus 1. This is, if this is q, then this is q minus 1. So you have to search in the left half subarray. Therefore P reduces to q minus 1 ai. So q minus 1. So the value, the size of the array is q minus 1 now, because previously it is n, but it is now from low to q minus 1. So that is q minus 1 ai to aq minus 1. Previously it was up to L. The problem was up to L. Over here you can see it was up to L, but now it is aq minus 1 and x. The key that I am searching for is x. And if x is greater than aq, let us say if I am searching for 10 and aq is 7 over here, so I have to search in the right suburb. So in that case what happens is L minus q is the problem, that is q is the value that you have considered, and L minus q is if L is 5 elements hote hain, we have considered 3 as q. So the problem size remaining is 2 here. Now you can see here only 2 elements are remaining, and then aq plus 1 to al. So aq plus 1 will become the new low now, and al will remain as it is the high, and the element to be searched is x. So this is how the algorithm is going to be designed. But the now next problem is how to choose q. One thing is you can choose this q randomly. You can apply the random technique. There is a function RANDOM and random low to high. So low, I and j. So it will take any q which is in between I and j, and then based on that you can update your problem. Another thing is, in the divide and conquer we have an option over here. What is the option? The option is that what we can do is we can choose q is equal to, let us say we can choose, so we can choose q is equal to so here we can choose q is equal to low plus high divided by 2. That is, low is high, j is low is I is low, j is high divided by 2. So whatever the array is there, so first of all let us try to search or find out the element at the middle of the array. If it is not, if it is present at the middle of the array, one comparison will be required to find out whether the element is present or not. If it is not present, at that time either we have to search in the left sub array depending on whatever the element I am searching for, and if x I am searching for is less than a of mid, in that case I have to search in the left sub array, and if x that I am searching for, if it is greater than a of mid, so in that case I have to search in the right sub array. Okay, so instead of choosing the q is equal to random, we can make use of one methodology wherein we are going to choose mid. So in this example, any given problem P gets divided or reduced into two new sub problems. Now two new sub problems will be created, but out of that two sub problems we are going to solve only the one sub problem and we are going to eliminate the remaining half. So that's the reason that we are saying that it is reduced. Then the division takes one time. So dividing a problem into sub problems takes 1 unit of time. So this will be required when we are going to calculate the complexity of this binary search. Okay, so dividing the problem into sub problem will take one time. So after a comparison with AQ, the instance remaining to be solved can be solved by using the divide and conquer schema again. So this was the problem, I divided into half problem, and this again problem can be divided into two parts depending on the methodology of D and C. Okay, so if Q is always chosen such that AQ is at the middle, if you want to choose it at the middle as I told here, then you can apply this one, n plus 1. So n is high, 1 is low divided by 2. Then the resulting search algorithm is known as binary search. If I choose this methodology where Q is chosen in such a way that Q is equal to low plus high divided by 2, this algorithm becomes a binary search algorithm. Note that the answer to the new subproblem is also the answer to the original subproblem. So once you find that this is present at the left sub half, it is present at the left sub half. At that time, if it is found at the left sub half successfully, your answer is the solution to this particular problem, the complete problem. Even if it is not solved and you return 0 at that time also, it is the problem to the whole complete as a subproblem. So let us move ahead. Let us consider an example over here. So you can see here that there are 14 elements over here. There are 14 elements over here. I would like to make some rearrangements here. So let me make the rearrangements and then bring this one in front of you. So over here there are 14 elements, and these are the real time elements that we are going to consider. So these 14 elements are from in between -15 to 151. So what is low? Low is 1. Low is 1 over here, and high is 14. Okay, and let us say in this case I want to search for 151. Okay, so now if I am searching for 151, how many comparisons will be required and how does this particular algorithm works? Let us try to understand. So first thing is that as we have discussed that we have to calculate mid, and low is 1, high is 14, mid will be low plus high divided by 2, that is 7, and we will compare whether the element is present at 7 or not. It is not present, but whatever the element that I am searching for, I am searching for 151, and 151 is greater than A of mid. So the key that I am searching for is greater than, you can see here greater than sign, A of mid. So if it happens, in that case what I have to do is I have to take this low over here to mid plus 1. So my low will be here. That means that my problem now is reduced from 1 to 14 to 8 to 14, half. It is now nearly half. So that is now new problem. So problem is, I have to solve a problem. I have to find out whether 151 is present between 8 to 14. And now my new mid is 8 plus 14 divided by 2, that is 11. So again at A of 11 we have 125. We have the value at A of 11 is 125, and you will find that 125, A of mid is 125 is less than 151. If it is less than 151, then I have to update the low. Low is equal to mid plus 1. Mid is 11, so low is equal to mid plus 1, that is equal to 12. Now my problem is reduced from 1 to 14 to 8 to 14 to 12 to 14. So I have to check whether 151 is present between 12, A of 12 and A of 14, since it is not present at A of 7 as well as A of 11. So again I am searching for 151. So now my mid is 12 plus 14 divided by 2. So it is 26 by 2, that is 13. Again 13, 142 is there. So 142, A of mid is 142 and it is less than 151. Again what I have to do is I have to shift the low to the mid plus 1. Mid is 13 and mid plus 1 is 14. So this is low. Now what does this indicate is, I have a single element where low is equal to mid, low is equal to high. This means that my problem definition has only one element. Now it is small p. So element that I am searching for, if it is present at this particular position, successful search. If it is not present at this particular position, unsuccessful search. So we will compare 151 and 151. Both of them are equal. 151 is compared with this 151 that I am searching for. Both of them are equal. I am going to return mid. Why? Because 14 plus 14, you can either return mid or you can return low. You can return high also, because low is equal to high. You return low. That means that it is successful search, and it is at A of 14. This condition is satisfied, and I am going to stop. This is successful search. This is successful search. Let us say I want to search for minus 14. Let us say I want to search for, I will erase all the things from this link now, so that we can solve this one now. If I want to search for minus 14, so again the same thing will happen. So low is 1, high is 14, mid will be 7, and at 7 it is not present. At 7 it is not present. The condition is A of mid is greater than K, because minus 14 I am searching for and A of mid is 54. So now what I have to do is I have to adjust high now. High is equal to mid minus 1. So that is, the problem is now reduced from 1 to 6. I have to search between 1 to 6. And the mid now will be 1.67, 7 divided by 2 is 3. Now whether it is present at 3? No, again it is not present at 3. And what I find is, I find that A of mid is again greater than K. So my high is to be again adjusted as mid minus 1. So the problem becomes between 1 to 2. So mid becomes 1 plus 2 by 2 is equal to 1. So whether it is present at 1, no, minus 14 now is greater than minus 15. So now A of mid is less than K now. That means that low is equal to mid plus 1. So the problem now becomes between 2 and 2. So now the problem has become a small problem, because low is equal to 2, high is equal to 2. It means that there is only one element present in this particular problem. So just compare whether it is present at 2. If it is present, successful search. If it is not present, unsuccessful search. So now you can see here minus 14 is not present here. So we are going to return 0. We are going to return 0 over here. So I hope you are understanding what I am trying to convince you in this particular this one. Let us try to understand this one by considering another example. So I will clear it. I will clear all the things from here, and let us try to consider key is equal to 9. That is, I am searching for 9. This value 9. I am not searching for A of 9. I am searching for 9 now. So low is equal to again 114, and it will become 7. So 7 contains 54. So A of 7 is now greater than key element that I am searching for. So what I have to do is I have to adjust the high. So 1, 6, and now next middle is 1 plus 6 divided by 2, that is 3, and check whether it is present at 3 or not. check whether it is presented. No, it is not present. So here the condition is a of 3 is less than k. That means that I have to adjust low now. Low is equal to mid plus 1. So the sub problem is between 4 to 6 and mid is 5 now. The value is present at 5, written 5. So this is how it works, written 5. So 5 is the correct answer. So in this case we returned 5, in this case we returned 0, and in this case we returned 14. So this is how this particular binary search works. So this is the algorithm. Now this is an algorithm binary search with 4 parameters. A is an array of elements, I is low, L is high, and X is the element that I am searching for. So given an array from A of low to high of elements in non-decreasing order. So that is 1 is less than equal to low, and that is low is less than equal to high. Okay. Then determine whether X is present, and if so, return J such that X is equal to AJ, otherwise return 0. So if high is equal to low, now here if high index is equal to low index, that means there is single element, that means that it is a small p, it is a small p. So this is a comment, this is inside the comment. Okay. Then these 7 and 8 are not there. Then we have to compare whether X is equal to that A of I. If X is equal to AI, return I is lower index, otherwise return 0. This is when the problem is small. If you find that the problem is not small, we will reduce it into the smaller subproblems. So what is the smaller subproblem? We will calculate mid is equal to low plus high divided by 2. And now if X is equal to A of mid, return again mid. Okay. If the value is present at the middle location, return that mid index. Otherwise check X is, if X is less than A of mid, in that case what you have to do is you have to search in the left suburb. Okay. So that is A, I, that is low, I is low, and mid minus 1. Mid minus 1 is high is adjusted to mid minus 1, and this is X. Otherwise, if this is not true, if this condition is not true, at that time search in the right suburb. So A, mid plus 1 is low, this is low, and L is high, high will remain as it is, and X. So this is how, this is we can say a recursive version of binary search algorithm, and this is how it works. Moving ahead, so this one we have already seen, so we will not go into details of this one again. So here this particular diagram, it shows that in what sequence the element are going to be searched. So if you are searching for an element which is at the 7th position, number of comparison required are 1. You can see here. If you are searching for an element which is at the 3rd position or 11th position, number of comparison required are 2. If your element is present at either 1, 5, 9, 13, number of comparison required are 3. You can see 13, 9, 5, 1. 3 comparisons are required. If your element is present at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, at that time number of comparisons required are 4. And for any unsuccessful search, you will require 5 comparisons. Minimum 5 comparisons will be required. When the array size is 14. If it is 100, then it will not be 5. It will be log 100 to the base 2 plus 1. Log 100 to the base 2 plus 1. Okay. So this is maximum. So log 100 plus 2, log 100 to the base 2 plus 1 is the number of comparison required for unsuccessful search. For successful search, it will be log 100. Okay, 1 less than unsuccessful search. You can see here, successful search is 1 less than, maximum is 1 less than unsuccessful search, and minimum number of comparison required are 1. So it can be between 1 to log 100. Can be between 1 to log 100. So this is about how does the comparisons are done in binary search. So understand the divide and conquer more better way. So this is very much important. Moving ahead, so this is the iterative algorithm. So I am not calling the same algorithm again and again. So this is the iterative algorithm. Previous one discussed was the recursive algorithm. So over here I am passing only 3 values. One is A, then one is size, and one is the key that I am searching for. So low is equal to 1, high is equal to n plus 1. Initially I am initializing low and high to 1 and n plus 1, and until I find that low is less than high minus 1, so I am going to repeat this. So if mid is equal to low plus high divided by 2, mid is equal to low plus high divided by 2, x is less than a of mid, then high is to be updated, otherwise low is to be updated. Otherwise low is to be updated. And finally, if we find that x is equal to a of low, then return low, otherwise return 0. Otherwise return 0. So this is called as iterative algorithm for divide and conquer. Divide and conquer binary search. Moving ahead, knowing the complexity of binary search, as I told previously that each of the instruction, in order to analyze, we will use this recursive binary search. So dividing the problem, requires 1 unit of time, and calculating middle value will require 1 unit of time. But when you are dividing the problem, you are dividing it into the half. So total amount here required here is T of, what I am doing is n by 2. If n is a given problem, time required to solve the problem is T of n by 2, solve the half problem plus this 2. So this is the time required to solve a problem of size n in case of a binary search. So we will go with the same concept and we will devise a recursive equation. So time required to solve a problem of size n will require T of n by 2, we are reducing the problem to half, plus 2. 2 is the time required to divide the problem and to calculate the mid, as I have previously told. And it will take 2 amount of time constant when n is equal to 1. So when problem is small, you can go and see here. When problem is small, we require, so this comparison is to be done and return is to be initiated. So that is only 2 values are to be compared here. So this, if we solve this particular recursive problem, we will get the complexity of binary search. So if I try to solve this one, so what I get is T of n is equal to T of n by 2 plus 2. If I put n is equal to n by 2 in this equation, what I get is this is equal to T of n by 2 divided by 2 plus 2 and this 2 as it is. And I can rewrite this as T of n by 4 plus 4. Okay. If I move further and if I put n is equal to n by 4 in this particular equation, what I get is this is equal to T of n by 4 divided by 2 plus 2 and this previous 4 as it is. So what we get is this is equal to T of n by 8 plus 6. I can rewrite this as T of n divided by 2 raised to 3 plus 3 into 2, whereas this one can be rewritten as T of n divided by 2 raised to 2 plus 2 into 2. Again further this can be rewritten as T of n divided by 2 raised to 1 plus 1 into 2. If I do it for another time, what I will get is T of n by 16 plus 8, that is T of n by 2 raised to 4 plus 4 into 2. So similarly, if I do it for k times, what I get is T of n divided by 2 raised to k plus k into 2. Now what I know is if T of 1, I know T of 1 is equal to 2. So if I want to make this is equal to 1, in that case I have to assume that n is equal to 2 raised to k. And if n is equal to 2 raised to k, it implies that k is equal to log n to the base 2. If it is 10 raised to k, in that case it will be to the base 10, but now it is 2 raised to k, so in that case it will be log n to the base 2. So this becomes T of n by n is equal to 1 and k will be replaced in terms of n, and that is 2 into log n to the base 2. So it becomes 2 log n to the base 2 plus 2. So if you will find out the complexity of this equation, what you will get is, you will get in terms of log n to the base 2. This one you can go and refer my definitions of videos on definitions of asymptotic notations. So with this we conclude the discussion about divide and conquer and binary search. These are the things that we have discussed in this particular lecture. In the next lecture we will discuss about DC max-min algorithm, and through this algorithm we are going to save over 25% of time when we want to find out the maximum and minimum of a given array. Okay. So for now, thank you for attending this particular lecture, And if you find this useful, you can share this particular lectures with your friends also.